The CQResearcher specializes in in-depth background reports by experienced journalists on current social issues. If you're researching a current hot topic type of issue, this database can really help you out with a lot of good information packed into one place. And it's also a good place to look for ideas if you're still in the process of choosing a topic to work on. Each week, CQResearcher publishes about a 24-page article on some topic of current interest. At the home page, they will highlight the current week's report and show you the most recent previous reports and the next ones coming up. Let's take a look at one so you can see what they provide. I'll open this one on racial profiling. First, note that over here in the Issue Tracker section, you may want to explore the related reports and the related topics for additional ideas and resources. The report opens showing the full text, the whole thing, in one long web page. But if you prefer, you can ask for the PDF version. This view lets you see the report just as it would appear in the printed edition, with all of the graphs and sidebars nicely laid out. In either version, you'll see a table of contents. The sections titled Overview, Background, and Current Situation will take up most of those 24 pages and will give you a thorough grounding in the topic. But there are several other unique features in these reports which can be very helpful. I'll go back to the PDF version for the moment. Under Pro-Con or At Issue, they always have a page with two knowledgeable people presenting short pro and con arguments related to the topic. They always provide a nice chronology of related events, which gives you some good context for the issue. And they do a good job of providing informative graphics and statistics, the kind of evidence-based information you'll need to back up your own points. In the HTML view, you can go right to a page of just the maps and graphs. The footnotes, bibliography, and next step sections will give you lots of leads for additional resources for your topic. And they'll even give us some brief information about the author. The authors are usually journalists with lots of experience reporting on social policy issues. Okay, now that you've seen what to expect in these, let's take a look at the search features. With CQResearcher, you probably don't want to get too complicated with your search terms. Just give it a word or a phrase. Remember, this is overview information. So I'll look to see what they have on climate change. Now, this search engine does a Google-like search. That is, it finds all the reports that use both of those terms somewhere in the full text of the report. For climate and change, it found 470 reports. But just like in Google, you can put a phrase into quotation marks to search for exactly that phrase. 181 of those reports mention the exact phrase climate change. You can use ands and ors here if you like. I can ask for the phrase climate change and biodiversity if I want to make sure that I get a report that addresses both biodiversity and climate change. Even fancier, I might ask for the phrase climate change and either the term biodiversity or the term extinction. You can even use truncation. If I chop this word off at extinct and stick an asterisk on it, that asterisk will now stand for any additional letters. So it will now retrieve reports that use the word extinct or extinction or extinctions. And that brings me 50 reports that meet those criteria. But often you'll get good results with just that simple keyword or phrase search. I'm going to go back to my basic climate change search to make my next point here. Note that CQResearcher sorts my results by relevance. It's trying to show me the most relevant articles first. And notice that I'm getting some pretty old reports in my results. Now in this example, I actually have a nice recent report right up at the top. So really, I would probably just grab that one and start reading. But with many topics, the date does become a problem in this database, so I want to show you how to set a date range. You could just change the sort to newest first. But then it shows the newest reports, regardless of whether they just mentioned climate change somewhere or are really about climate change. So let's go take a look at advanced search. Here I still have just the one search box where I'll enter my phrase again. But now I can set a date range. I'll ask for reports since, the beginning of the decade. Notice that you can also ask just for reports that focus in a particular subject area if you like. I could choose just reports in the broader topic of environment, climate, and natural resources here. That would be reasonable. But actually, I might want to see a report that discusses climate change in the context of health, or agriculture, or perhaps international relations. So I'll just leave that set to any. And now all of my reports are from the last few years. This is a nice way to explore a topic. Certainly I would want to see this most recent report about climate change in general, but I might also want to see what this report on coastal development has to say about climate change, or the water crisis, or disappearing forests. I'll take this one on future of the Arctic to show one last feature of these reports, and that is the Cite Now link. This defaults to an APA-style citation for the article, but you can switch to MLA. Remember that these are machine-generated citations and may not get it quite right, so be sure to check. Okay, we're almost done. Just two more things I want to point out. We went over searching in detail, but in this database, you might find it just as easy to browse for reports, especially if you are just in the process of choosing a topic. You might want to try Browse by Date and look through the most recent year or maybe 2 years worth of reports to see if they've done one on something that catches your interest. Or you might want to scan the list here under Issue Tracker for areas of interest. I'll choose prisons, and then see the reports that they've done that are related to that topic. There is also a Browse by Topic menu, but this is a little more awkward because once you choose a topic here, such as education, you then have to open each of the subtopics to see the related reports. A better way to see the reports for a broad area is to go back to the Advanced Search screen, set the date range that you want, and choose your broad topic from the list here. You don't have to give it any search terms. And that will show you a list of the reports for that subject area. And finally, a word about these short reports. You'll see them both in your result list and on the home page over here on the right. These are updates that CQResearcher puts together for each of their 20 most searched topics each year. So for their most sought after topics, they will always have some information updated within the year. For example, if I open bullying, we see the related full reports that they've done, and we get this short update, including an updated chronology. And those are some of the features and eccentricities of CQResearcher. Try it for hot topics or for choosing a topic. Browse the reports or search for them. Generally, it works best to keep your search fairly simple, but remember that you can use phrase searching, truncation, and ands and ors if you need them. Then enjoy having all of that great background information in one tidy place. And if you have any trouble with this or any of our other databases, remember that it's never cheating to ask your librarian.